What's going on, people? It's Chidu Bam. I'm here with Townsend Wardlaw, aka the Chief, aka the GOAT. He's one of the absolute legends in this leadership, transformation, coaching, development game to me. So I'm just gonna very briefly share who Townsend is and who he is to me. So Townsend Wardlaw is a leadership catalyst, executive coach, trusted advisor, community leader. He's a man of many hats. He's worked with founders and entrepreneurs in assisting them in growing their businesses into the hundreds of millions. He's worked with leaders from all over the world to live incredible lives and incredible successful lives, but not just about the money and results, but from a place of well-being and purpose and possibility through the community that he started, the coaching operating system, which assists coaches in creating uh, prosperous, thriving businesses, understanding the actual business of coaching. That's where we connected, and I was lucky enough to be in that community from the very kind of beginning, the early days,
Yeah.
as it were,
Yeah.
in 2023, and see it go from around maybe 60 people as it was then to now. What is it, 1,400, 500?
Yeah. Some
Um,
upwards of 1,000, something like that. Yeah.
and who Townsend is to me is just he's an absolute legend. He's really inspired me and shown me what it means to be a leader in the world. To help people and to assist people in living into their deeper purpose and possibility, and to, as his mission, and he give it in better words, is to help people know that they can be infinite creators. And I've got to witness people in this community go from making maybe less than 10,000 to 100,000 plus. I've got to see people really step into their power in a whole new way, and I obviously very much include myself, in that category. Things that I've learned through you and just being around you and with you have had a massive ripple effect in my life, and those ripple effects will, go on forever, and of course in our lives as the people who I serve. So that being said, I had this thought to, like, you know what? There was one particular thing that I've learned through Townsend, and it's an ongoing process um, around integrity. And I said, you know what? I would love to just sit down and have a conversation with him about this, because I think this will be massively powerful for everyone who's listening to it. I would go as far to say that this will be the most important, 30 minutes or so, um, possibly like of your life. Like for me, it will help you see the problems that may be getting in the way of you achieving your dream and expressing yourself in the world the way you really want to, in a whole new way. So, with that being said, do you have anything to kind of share or reflect on that before we get into
Oh, that was a beautiful introduction. Thank you for that.
it? So, like, we're just really just going to get straight into it. And, when I talked about integrity, that has a main meaning for people in many different ways. So, I'm going to ask you, what is integrity?
Yeah, thank you. For me, integrity is simply the degree to which something is whole, something to which anything is what it says it is, right? When people hear the word integrity, they associate it with doing the right thing. They associate it with a value or a morality or something about how we're supposed to act. And I've even heard people say integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. The problem I have with that is one must ask the question, what's the right thing? Right? In a world of whatever it is, 8 or 9 billion people, vast number of races. Now we have diversity of gender, right? We have education, we have cultural norms, we have generation, millennials and Gen Xers.
Hmm.
Well, who's sitting there with this book of the right things that we're supposed to follow? So I think that's problematic because the right thing can be true for a group of people, or a culture or society or a town or a village, but as soon as you start talking about the world, it falls apart. So I don't think about integrity at all as doing the right thing. Integrity itself means wholeness, the degree to which something is whole and complete, what it's supposed to be. One of my favorite examples is if I have a bar of gold and it's stamped 24K, that means 24 karat. 24 karat is the representation of this gold as pure, 99.99% gold. If I take it to a metallurgist and they test it, the machine should say, oh, yeah, this is 99.99% gold. That's what it is. It says it's that, and it's that. Now, if I take it to the metallurgist, they say, well, actually, this is just gold plated. You scrape it off, and it's lead under there. Well, now there's a problem, right? Because it's not what it says it is. Right? I hand you a bar of gold, it's not real gold, and I try to get you to buy it from me. This is real gold, Dooman, but it's not. Well, we have a problem, right? Now we might say, well, all of a sudden you're trying to cheat me, or there's trust, and we can use all these value words, but what I like to say is we have a problem with workability. The ability for us to work together on anything, whether it's buying and selling the gold or just even being friends, something is going to be degraded by the fact that this bar lacks integrity. Another example I use is imagine you have a skyscraper on Miami Beach, a beautiful location with the penthouse. It's $20 million, and the condos are $1 million. Everybody's got the beautiful furniture and the designer appliances and the little throw rugs on the chair and custom upholstery. Everything's beautiful. But what nobody knows is when they were constructing this building, the contractor who was paid to pour the concrete for the building figured out they could extract a little more profit if into the concrete they added like some sawdust or something. I don't even know what's in concrete, but I'm pretty sure you don't put sawdust in there. And they said, well, we're gonna dilute it instead of all the concrete stuff. We're gonna put some sawdust in there because it's cheaper. We'll make a little more money. Okay, well they got some more profit. The challenge is this concrete now is not what was specified by the architect in the plans as necessary to support the structure of the building. The concrete is out of integrity. It's not whole and complete as concrete. It's got some other stuff which degrades, obviously, the strength, the durability, etc. So in a skyscraper where the concrete lacks integrity, right, the thing it's made of, well, everybody's enjoying their life and hosting their dinner parties and what have you, and life is all wonderful, maybe for 5 or 10 or 15 years, but one day a hurricane comes along and it's, we get them all the time in Florida, and that particular hurricane has sufficient forces that exceed what that building was designed to withstand if it didn't have what it was supposed to be constructed with. So in that case, integrity or a lack of integrity can cause a catastrophic failure of the building. Right? When we talk about the integrity of anything, it's the degree to which it is what it says it's supposed to be, and it's whole and complete. And when it's whole and complete, it performs the way it's supposed to perform. It does what it's supposed to do, and we can work with it. So it's a very objective measure. Now, when I speak about integrity, I'm not talking about concrete. I'm not talking about gold. I'm talking about the integrity of the thing that we create with, right? See, people have the idea like that person has integrity or not. What I would say is the person has integrity because, they're a person. It's their skin, their bones, their DNA. I don't worry about that, right? If somebody is missing a leg, we could say maybe they're missing a little integrity in their body, but who cares, right? They're fine as a human. Where integrity gets interesting is when we think about integrity of our word, right? The way I think about it is our word is the only tool that we create with. Everything that we create, everything we do in life is constructed of our word. Any relationship you have with somebody is created in the speaking and the writing. If we didn't have language, we wouldn't have relationships, we wouldn't have community, we wouldn't have society. We'd just all be walking around thinking our own thoughts. Right? We are here today because you called me up, said some words about a podcast. I said yes, and here we are. This wasn't an accident. People build companies. Those companies are constructed sometimes on a back of a napkin. Somebody goes, "We're going to do this," and that's their word. And they create and they bring somebody else and say, "We're going to do this," and they hold a meeting and they draft documents. It's all with our word. So if our life, our relationships, everything that we see and touch, everything that matters is constructed from the most fundamental element of creation, our word, well, I think it's interesting to ask the question, to what degree does our word have integrity? To what degree is our word whole and complete? To what degree does our word mean what we say it means? Does it produce what we say it's going to produce?
Where have you this does yeah. Every time I hear it, like I have to just sit with it, because when you said about, well, obviously I've heard this before from you, right? But when you said about the word, often I think of Genesis, right?
Yeah. In the beginning, there was the word, and the word
The
was
word
God.
was with God, and the word was God, right? Like
Yeah.
the simple level, if you say you're going to do something and then you actually do it, you will create the thing that you say you're going to do. But then there's something else that you share about integrity around honoring your word, right?
Mhm.
So could you speak a bit more on that, and then another question?
Yeah. Well, I work with a lot of companies. I work with a lot of founders, and I work with people in relationships. But one thing I've found consistently in the world of business and entrepreneurship and people trying to build companies is when they express a frustration about not being able to get where they want to get, produce the outcomes that they want to produce, right? When they say it's not working, well, what's not working? Well, what's not working is the stuff isn't happening that we need to happen to create the results that we want. Well, what's not happening? Well, what people say is going to happen isn't happening. Right.
Mm,
So if you want to oversimplify, the cause of disappointment, frustration, strife in any organization or any gathering of people almost always comes down to the fact that people aren't doing what they said they were going to do when they said they were going to do it, how they said they were going to do it, or they're not saying they're going to do things. Right? Why didn't we hit our revenue last quarter? Well, reason. At the end of the day, the salesperson didn't sell something. The customer didn't buy something they said they were going to buy or they said they wanted to. Like it all comes down to how we use our word. A simpler way to think about it is this: what would life look like for you, for anybody listening, if everybody did what they said they were going to do, how they said they were going to do, if you could count on that? Like I just asked that simple question to a CEO. What would your company look like if everybody here did what they said they were going to do when they said they were going to do it, how they said they were going to do it, and there was no checking up, there was no following up, there was no, like people just used their word, they honored their word, like when they said they just did it, and usually they're like, well, I can't even imagine what that would look like, right? Like it would be crazy, right? Because how do people use their word? Well, they say they're going to do something and they don't do it, or they say they're going to do it and they do something else. Or they say they're going to do it, but they don't do it the way they say they're going to do it, or when they say they're going to do it. Or they say they're going to do it, but then they make excuses, or they run and hide. And we're managing all this stuff. What if you could count on people to do what they said they were going to do, or tell you they weren't going to do it? Because that's the other side of integrity. Integrity is saying I'm going to do something and then doing it. Right? That's my word is whole and complete. Integrity is also saying, yeah, I'm not going to do that. You can count on me not to do that.
Mm,
Or telling you I'm going to do it and then letting you know before I don't do it, hey, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do it. Now, what I see there is a world where everybody could count on everybody else.
mm,
And think about how much energy is expended, how much stress is produced simply trying to make sure what people say is going to happen, or dealing with when it doesn't, finding fixes and remediations for people who, I mean, it's mind boggling.
mm.
So that's the external application of integrity with other people. There's also the idea of what if I honored my word with myself? What if when I said I was going to do something, I believed I would do it? This may come as a shock to you or other people, but people say all kinds of things that if you ask, do you really believe you're going to do that? They say, no, probably not. I really want to take a month off. Yeah, is that something you're going to do? No, probably won't. Okay, that's interesting, right? I need to lose some weight. You going to do that? Nah, I probably won't. Well, what if you did? What if simply speaking, I'm losing weight. So I'm feeling very svelte these days. About I don't know, a month ago, I was a little on the high side of what I like to weigh. It's been a lovely winter and lots of food and beverages. And I said, yeah, I'm getting down to 190. All I did was say I'm going to be at 190 in 2 months. Now, people would ask me when I would share that, well, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I'll do whatever I need to do. But what I know is when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
So is
My
that
word.
no, but is that like, because this is the now really interesting part, right? Like, is that a byproduct of the relationship you have with your word from this cultivation of integrity, or is that like just an innate thing?
It's not innate, right? We're taught to speak. We're taught word. We're taught our name, and we're taught how to use it. And in many cultures, it is inculcated that when you use your word, you must be disingenuous or polite or even deceitful. Right? How we use our word is taught to us. And it fits or works in that culture. That may or may not mean it fits or works with us. There are countries that you can go do business in where people will say, yes, we have a deal. That doesn't mean we have a deal. And everybody knows that. So nobody's word has integrity, and everybody knows everybody's word doesn't have integrity. That's the good news. The bad news is it's really hard to get stuff done.
Mm.
So this is a really important point to make. Integrity is not a moral value. It is not something superior. It's a tool. It is an attribute of our word that produces a result. I call that result workability. Integrity is the most powerful tool in the world to get shit done. Right? It's the most powerful tool in the world to lose weight. It's the most powerful in the world to build the business. The most powerful tool in the world to build a company. There is no more powerful tool. Now, you know what it's a terrible tool for? Looking good, sounding nice, being polite. Integrity is a really poor tool for being polite and not hurting other people's feelings. Right?
Can you
You
can
like
you
this
just
shirt? You like this shirt? The shirt looks terrible on you. That's integrity. You might not like it. I don't look like a good guy. So it's really important that people don't watch this, A, think that integrity is something they need to do, or that they're going to be a better human if they do it. For me, integrity is a tool that I have chosen and that I have put great intention into and care into and effort into cultivating because what I value is getting shit done. What I value
Mm,
is creation. What I value is powerful creation in the world, relationships, businesses, money, impact, all the things that I want to create, I create through my extraordinary pursuit of integrity. Now, there's a price to pay for that. Not everybody would say I'm a nice guy, or, you know, I may not be popular. Again, these are whatever game you're playing, you're going to win a prize. My prize is getting shit done and workability. The game I play is integrity. A lot of people play a game called Be Liked. A lot of people play a game called Don't Be Blamed for Nothing. People play a game called Don't Look Bad. People play a game called Don't Get Hurt. Those are all perfect games. They're wonderful games. They all make sense. And they'll use the tools for that job. So integrity is a game, or sorry, I should say a tool that works extraordinarily and exceptionally if you're interested in playing a game called Create Powerfully, quickly, big. It's not the right thing to do.
We've got 8 minutes left.
That's it, man. It goes fast, doesn't it?
I know. Listen, this is there can be more, so it doesn't have to be the last time we speak, of course. Right? We always come back because I think you've said this once that you've spent days with people on this.
I could speak about integrity for the rest of my life and nothing else. Like literally, if you're like Townsend, you get to sell one thing and talk. It would be integrity. I don't have to talk about anything else.
So so at this juncture, we put it out there. Put it in the comments if you would like a part 2, your reflections, your insights. Okay, and I'll ask him to come back again. We'll go further into it. But for now, we're going to use these 8 minutes of fed time.
Yeah.
There's 2 things that are coming up to me, right? One is what gets in the way of integrity.
Everything.
Right?
Everything. Everything. Here's what I say. There are an infinite number of things you can trade for integrity. And there's like a giant shopping mall we're walking through, and all the stores have stuff in them that you can exchange for integrity. There's a store called Be Liked. There's a store called Don't Make Waves. There's a store called Don't Look Like a Dick. Right? There's a store called Don't Make a Mistake. Get it right. I mean, infinite. Infinite. Everything is for sale, and the only unit of currency is our integrity. Right? You got a meeting to go to, and you said you're going to be there at, I don't know, 9:30, and you're talking to somebody, and you need to leave now. Right? What needs to happen if you're going to be your word is you say, gotta go, and you walk away. So I would need to trade something for integrity in that moment. But what do? I say, well, I don't want to be rude. And in that moment, you've just sold integrity. By the way, that's not the wrong thing. It's not like you made a mistake. What I would say is it costs you. Ultimately, my integrity is my most valuable attribute because it is the thing that determines the power of that which I create everything with. Lots of people got to use a lot of words to make stuff happen. Why? Because their integrity is low. If my concrete is very diluted, I got to use more of it if I want it to be just as strong. When my word is powerful, I use 2 or 3 words. I'm sitting across from somebody. I want to do a deal with them. I want them to be a client. I say, let's do this. Now, when I say let's do this, or this is going to be good for you, or whatever I say, you could say the same words. They ain't the same words.
This is what I was thinking. Like, there's an energy, even when you just said that there, like as a just as a story, as a metaphor, as a like I could feel it.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, I throw a feather at you at 10 miles an hour, it's going to feel a certain way. I throw a rock at 10 miles an hour, it feels differently. I throw a tractor trailer, a truck at you, like it's going to smash you flat. My word has so much integrity because I spend so much time looking for where I'm out of it and cleaning it up. So when I speak, it's like a truck driving through somebody.
Well, could you in the last few minutes, could you just speak to that, right? Like the game of where I am not, and
absolutely my favorite,
the most practical, the very most practical, effective thing someone can take away from this and literally implement immediately.
Beautiful. So here's what you can do. First of all, don't make integrity a crusade. Don't make an integrity like a thing to find fault with yourself. Make it a game. Make it a fun game where you're not looking for it, you're looking for where you're not. So awareness of anything is the path to getting where you want to be. You have to be aware of it. So step one of the game is simply to notice all the places where you say something out here that doesn't line up with what's up here. How you doing today? Oh, I'm doing great. No, I'm having a shitty day. Just notice it. You don't have to do anything about it. Notice where you say yes to things that you'd want to say no to. Notice where you say you'll do something, but you don't want to do it. Notice when you say you'll be someplace, but you know you have a meeting, right? Here's a funny example. How many people have something on their calendar at 10 o'clock, and guess when the previous meeting ends? 10. How can you do that? I don't have meetings that end at 10. They end at 9:55. I end meetings at 9:55 because otherwise I can't get there. So even that is an example where 99.9% of the world is out of integrity. You cannot end a meeting and start a meeting in 30 seconds. So notice all the places your life is out of integrity. Don't worry about it. Don't try to fix them. Don't make yourself wrong. It just is. And give yourself some love and a pass and say, well, there's a good reason for it. Now, next step is to see where you can clean things up. Where you can say no when you were going to say yes because you wanted to say no. Where you said yes to something and you go to somebody and say, hey, I know I said I'd help you move on Saturday. I'm not actually going to do that. And don't make excuses. Just tell them the truth. Right? Notice where your wife's talking to you and you're, yes, honey, but, and say, hey, honey, I want to apologize. I was on my phone. I'm listening now. Like, you don't have to make a big deal about it, right? For me, acknowledging, right? So awareness is step one. Where am I out of integrity? And the answer is everywhere. I'll go at the end of the day and say, okay, what did I do today where I was out of integrity? Just think, a little scan, I'll find 2 or 3 things, and let me go clean those up tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll call the guy up and say, hey, just so you know, I said this, that wasn't quite right. Here's what it is. And I look for places to clean up where I'm out of integrity. Don't make a big deal. I don't need to throw a pity party and make myself feel bad. I just go, where am I out of integrity? Is there a way I can restore integrity? Right? Notice when you're running late to things and you're like, show up late and you make excuses. Here's another way to have integrity. When you show up late, you say, hey, I want to acknowledge I was late. I apologize. Don't blame traffic. Don't blame whatever. Don't make excuses. Just own it. That's integrity. This is on me. I apologize. That's integrity. Oh, well, traffic was, well, that's out of integrity because you could have done something about that. So there's so many places you can start to play with, noticing, and most important, I'd be remiss if I didn't share this. When I play the game called Where Am I Out of Integrity, I play it with me. I don't worry about anybody else's integrity.
Yeah, sounds very
you don't need to go check in on everybody else and doesn't matter who else is out of integrity. Let them deal with their integrity. You worry about yours. I worry about mine.
Well, I was gonna have that. I was gonna give you the final word, but I feel like that is the final word. Really, like, that was a big thing for me. So just that, like, no, this is about my integrity. It's not about them or what they could know. It's for me. It's for
That's
me
right.
to say. I have to say this for myself, for my integrity, and the power that really comes through that. So listen, we aren't gonna end this, on
Yeah.
time because I'm with the Don, the Don of integrity. Do you know what I'm saying? Himself. We're gonna put it down in the comments. See what resonated. Some of your insights. If you want us to do a part 2, throw it down, and we'll come back. All right. So we're gonna put some also links where you can find more about the coaching operating system and Townsend and stuff like that. So check that out below.
Thank you, Cheetah Bem. I love you, brother.
Thank you. Love you, bro.
Talk soon. Bye.
Boom, there it is. Thank you for listening, everyone. I've got some requests for you. One, share in the comments below what your insights, what resonated. If you would like a part 2 with Townsend, let us know in the comments too. Also, share this with 3 people who you think would really get a lot from this, if it resonated with you. Next request, subscribe to the channel. We've got so much heat coming. And then check the description below for more about Townsend and the coaching operating system. All right, take care. Bye.